Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. One of the founders of Ripple, the company, says it's time to punish Bitcoiners. And the word punish, that is a quote. That's a word that he used. And not literally all Bitcoiners, but some prominent Bitcoiners in the industry that are, let's just say, from his perspective, destroying the planet. So I wanted to highlight this perspective. And then also, there's a platform in Japan that is relisting XRP, so I want to talk about that. And I also have a third story. This one's from Crypto Newsflash, titled Binance US targets public listing in the next 3 years, says CEO CZ. And which would be interesting to see, because Binance, at least in the United States, it seems like from a regulatory perspective, I haven't seen any terrible news recently. We have seen Binance US lose 2 CEOs within like the last half a year roughly, so that's not good. But from a regulatory perspective, I don't recall off the top of my head at least any stories where the government's coming down on them. But Binance, in other corners of the world, they have taken more of a reactive than proactive approach, and it's coming to bite them on the rear side right now. So yeah, they've grown very quickly, but governments are really bringing down the hammer in various parts of the world. So they are trying to clean up their act here, and I hope they're able to, for a number of reasons. And one is it would impact Ripple and potentially XRP holders, is that the CEO of Binance has made it clear, he has publicly stated that he does in fact intend to utilize Ripple's on-demand liquidity, meaning XRP, as a bridge currency. He has publicly stated that in the past. And I'll highlight that because there's so many new people in the world of crypto, you might even be unaware of that. But yeah, their intentions for Binance, which again is the largest cryptocurrency exchange on the planet by volume, to use on-demand liquidity, which again does mean XRP is a bridge currency. But I do want to be clear at the outset, I don't have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos, but it's just a hobby for fun. That's all that's going on here, so I don't want anyone to think I'm someone or something that I'm not. I'm no more special than anybody listening to this. Anyway, so this first piece comes from You Today, titled Ripple's Chris Larsen urges regulators to punish Bitcoiners, calls Vitalik Buterin a hero. Well, isn't that nice? During his recent appearance on the Investing in Integrity podcast, Ripple co-founder Chris Larsen urged the Bitcoin community to, quote, make the damn code change, end quote. Make the damn code change. I like that. Don't mince words, Larsen. Make the damn code change. To switch to environmentally friendly proof of stake from energy-intensive proof of work. He, however, believes that a small cohort of elite developers, miners, and exchange operators won't voluntarily implement such a drastic change, predicting that regulators will have to step in. Describing Bitcoin as the dirtiest crypto on the planet, Larsen says that governments will have to cut off zero-emission credits to companies that have exposure to it. He also believes that we'll move to take away some money transmission licenses. Let me pause right here. I'm going to stay at, look, in terms of like the environmental friendliness of all this, we all know it's just a factual statement that Bitcoin, I mean, Chris Larsen's right there. It is like the dirtiest cryptocurrency on the planet, if you want to look like that, because it's just an absolute energy hog. That's a fact. Now, as far as the political implications, because environmental changes or potential environmental changes, very political. And I don't, look, crypto's divisive enough. I ain't getting to religion and politics, damn it. Unless it directly has something to do with crypto, and then, okay, it's game. And I don't even want to, this one, I ain't even going to touch it. Like, I seriously don't even want to touch it. Not really. Now, I will say this, though. As far as the idea of government having to step in, I don't think that's going to happen, not in any sort of meaningful way. That would be my guess anyway. I could be wrong. But you're talking about, like, what, somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 countries on the planet, and there is mining done all over the damn place, although obviously where there's the cheapest energy, that's where you see the most of it. I understand. Yes, of course I get all this. But I don't think you're going to get countries the world over to harmoniously govern in such a way. I don't think you're going to be able to do it. It's the same types of problems when you're talking about any sort of reduction in energy consumption, especially from certain energy sources. even if when countries in the past have verbally agreed, yeah, talk the talk, but are you going to walk the walk? No. The answer is no. You're not going to get all sorts of countries to fall in line, which is a legitimate struggle here. And so even if, and of course Larsen believes this, okay, fine. He believes that it's best to have government step in and fix the problem, legislate it effectively. I am highly skeptical that you'd be able to coordinate something like that. I'll just say that. And then the piece continues. Larsen, who's being sued by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, describes the narrative that using more energy will lead to a greener future as propaganda. And here's a quote. The regulators should punish this kind of nonsense. I think they should. Take away money transmitter licenses. That will get them in line. End quote. So he wants them to bring down the hammer here. I don't think that's going to happen in any. I mean, you could see like a situation here, there in particular geographic regions, maybe, but you're not going to get the whole world in line. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Now, the Ripple boss maintains that there is no such thing as green mining, and renewable energy can be utilized for making green steel making, green aluminum, and green concrete, among other things. And so, and that part is true. Like, there is no such thing as green mining. And so, I think it would just make so much more sense if people just utilize something like XRP and the XRP ledger, which utilizes like almost zero energy for each transaction, almost none. Seriously, it's just so amazing. The technology exists. It's been around for the better part of a decade. And yes, it is one of the most adopted cryptocurrencies on the entire planet. So it's not like there's no adoption, but I'm just sitting here thinking, like, all of the things that Bitcoiners want Bitcoin to be, and that they're working they're working on upgrading Bitcoin, this or that, and Lightning Network, Layer 2 technology. You don't need it with XRP. Like, everything they're saying they want Bitcoin to be, XRP already is. Fine, they have a problem with the concentration of holdings, but what about the concentration of holdings from legacy wallets? What about the roughly 1 million Bitcoin held by Satoshi? That's the rough estimate there. And there are whales all over the place anyway. Like, you're not going to get rid of whales. There are also rich people in fiat currency, okay, and investments. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't make sense really to utilize this. It's just that Bitcoin was the first, and so here it is. Anyway, the Ripple boss also had some words of praise for Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin, going as far as calling him a hero for his determination to ditch proof of work. You could just use XRP for everything. Anyway, sidechains, ever heard of them? Anyway, the second largest blockchain is expected to migrate to proof of stake next year, with the recent London hard fork being a crucial stepping stone. He also believes that Buterin is the smartest person in the cryptocurrency industry. Now, it's interesting that he had such nice words, because Vitalik Buterin has had some not-so-nice words recently, actually. And I don't remember them off the top of the head, so I couldn't probably communicate what they were. But I remember, and it may have been shortly after the lawsuit. I'm pretty sure, so I'm probably thinking back to December of 2020. But, man, he was not happy with something that was stated. I just can't remember. It might have had something to do with Ethereum's past, and maybe it was the ICO stuff. I don't know. To be honest, I'd have to look it up. But I do remember reading a tweet where Vitalik Buterin just snapped back. I think he cursed. I think he used the S word. I'm pretty sure. And so then you have, despite that, Ripple CEO saying that he's a hero, which is interesting. All right, into the next piece. Japanese Amazon Rakuten to resume XRP trading. Well, how about that? A little bit of relisting on a platform. Don't mind seeing that. A major Japanese online retailing company, Rakuten, has announced that it's going to resume XRP margin trading on its Rakuten wallet exchange. The service was halted on December 24th, 2 days after the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission announced its landmark lawsuit against blockchain company Ripple. Rakuten Wallet notes that the cryptocurrency's price discovery is now stable enough. Coinbase, Kraken, Binance US, Bitstamp, and a slew of other exchanges are yet to reinstate trading in the US, with Ripple's fate hinging on the outcome of the lawsuit. Okay, let me pause there. That's a little bit dramatic. I think Ripple's going to continue to exist regardless, and XRP most certainly will continue to exist, even if the worst of worst outcomes occurs. Maybe even you may even see a drop in price in XRP, but XRP is functionally useful for people, and I believe it would just bounce back, and then it would be a thing in the past. That XRP would just move forward, and then we can forget about the rest of the nonsense that happened. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's much more likely they're going to see settlement or a victory in general in court for Ripple, but we'll just have to sit here patiently and wait. But anyway, Rakuten Wallet launched back in 2019. Initially, only Bitcoin, Ether, and Bitcoin Cash were available for spot trading, but in March 2020, the cryptocurrency exchange added margin trading for Litecoin and XRP. And so, I don't know, the countries outside of the United States that halted or delisted XRP after this news from December of 2020, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, functionally, what is wrong with your thought process? Like, what are you doing? There's something wrong with you. Why, if you're outside of the United States? I mean, unless it's one of these instances where, like, what are you trying to curry favor with the U.S. regulators because you're planning on expanding to the United States, stuff like this? By and large, it seems silly on the surface. Like, you're really just like a lap dog of the SEC at that point. That's what it looks like to me. Now, the entities in the United States, that's a whole different story. I don't groan their decision one bit. I mean, I don't like it, but I'm just saying I understand they're looking out for their employees, and that's good because their employees need to look out for their families, and so I totally get it and respect where they're coming from there. But the good news is I'm like 100% confident that once this is all settled, assuming it's favorable for Ripple and XRP, like these exchanges in the United States, they're all going to relist XRP. And I think there's going to be a mad dash to pick it up, including institutional money pouring in. That would be my expectation. We'll see how it unfolds. There's a lot of question marks, but that would be my expectation. Next story, crypto news flash. Binance US targets public listing in the next 3 years, says CEO CZ. Founder and CEO of Binance, Changpeng Zhao, or CZ for short, has said the firm's US arm will go public in 3 years. Binance US is just going to do what Coinbase did, he said on September 1st. Now, additionally, CZ disclosed that Binance US will, in 2 months, finalize large private funding. With it, the firm's board CEO will have lesser authority. Moreover, the company is looking to raise investment and protection through government funds at a $200 billion valuation. Now, this information is, however, yet to be officially confirmed. In 2020, Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange, generated a profit of between $800 million and $1 billion. The exchange boasted of a $3.88 billion daily trading volume, which is a 36% rise year over year. Now, okay, so a couple of things. Part of that obviously is because Binance has been taking over the world of crypto, but perhaps the bigger reason for that would simply be that crypto done gone bonkers over the last year, right? Everybody and their grandma has jumped into crypto. And you just wait, because for this last leg, it's going to be everybody and their grandma and their great-grandmother by the end of the cycle jumping into this damn thing. The final leg up is where the greatest fireworks are going to occur. And so obviously massive. And of course they've got Binance US, which will be utilizing on-demand liquidity in the future. At least that's what CZ has said in the past. And so for those of you not in the know, there's a lot of new people in the XRP community. On-demand liquidity, which of course does require the usage of XRP for settlement. On-demand liquidity used to be known as XRapid. It was rebranded as on-demand liquidity. It's functionally the same thing. It's the same software. Nothing about that changed. It's just a better name. Because when you hear on-demand liquidity, it's easy to understand what it is. It's more intuitive. And so back when XRapid was XRapid, I remember Ripple executives describing it as on-tap liquidity. That's what they were calling it, on-tap liquidity. So they could have called it OTL, on-tap liquidity, but on-demand liquidity is better because on-tap liquidity it kind of makes you think that maybe it has something to do with beer. Not that you literally think it has something to do with beer, but it makes you think of beer. On-tap liquidity. Better to just go with on-demand liquidity, which they ultimately did. So it was really just a branding thing here. But seriously, like, as I've said many times, as liquidity increases, what do you think's going to happen? Because the reason there are two primary reasons that you're not seeing XRP utilized as a bridge currency throughout the world in a more meaningful manner than you see today. It does take a long time for adoption to take place. If you've ever seen technology bell curve, That's why, like, Google it, a technology bell curve. It's a real thing. It's happening here too, specifically with on-demand liquidity. But there are two primary reasons. One would be regulatory concerns. We're seeing that, aren't we? And then number two would be there's not sufficient liquidity the world over to just replace the current settlement system, the legacy financial system. So even though this is better, you got to have time for it to be built out. And then at some point, adoption will exponentially increase. That's what happens. Just look at a technology bell curve. It's coming here. And so, the network effect, it increases the more people use it, of course, also. But take a look at this, because here's a quote from Binance CEO CZ, and this is from June 10th, 2019. He said, "We're focused on launching more features right now, so we are working with a number of other partners. With XRapid, there's nothing going on right now, but in the future, we'll definitely want to add them as a partner." End quote. That's the full quote. And so it's coming. And like I've said before, like if there's sufficient liquidity, like if you're a cryptocurrency exchange, why wouldn't you want to plug into on-demand liquidity? Because if that pushes more volume through your exchange, look, if you're an exchange, you don't even care what the hell the price is. You're just making money on the buying and selling of each of crypto with each transaction. And so if more volume flows through an exchange as a result of that, that's just more money for them. Why the hell wouldn't an exchange want to plug in? That's what I'm saying. As there's sufficient liquidity, more adoption unfolds, and remittance firms and banks the world over want to jump into this, assuming adoption really does take place the way we think and hope that it will. Of course, Binance is going to want a piece of it. So, all good things in time. Long road ahead, but I'm optimistic. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.